California comes another first night in the radio drama season. The opening play of the new Dr. Christian series, starring Jean Hersholt as the popular doctor of River's End, and presented for your pleasure by the Cheesebro Manufacturing Company, owners of the trademark Vaseline, and producers of Vaseline Petroleum Jelly, Vaseline Hair Tonic, and other famous Vaseline specialties. Waiting to greet you in person and bid you welcome tonight and every Wednesday night hereafter to our lovely village of River's End and the ever-changing drama our good doctor finds in the lives of our citizens is our star, Jean Hersholt.
Thank you. And good evening, everybody. Tonight marks the premiere of our third year on the air. Thanks to you listeners and who so kindly have accepted our Dr. Christian programs, and thanks to our sponsors, the Cheesebro Manufacturing Company, makers of Vaseline products, and believe me, I'm very, very happy to be back. Last spring, when we closed our season, I told you that this fall you were going to meet Dr. Christian again, both on the air and on the screen. And so instead of having a vacation, I made a movie for RKO Radio Pictures. The first of a series of films about Dr. Christian. And in them you're going to see him, of course, and River's End, and various of the other folks who make our town an interesting place to live in. The first of these pictures is called Meet Dr. Christian, and it'll be released all over the United States and Canada on November 17th. I sincerely hope you'll give us the same encouragement on our movies as you have given us on our radio programs. And I'll very much appreciate it if you'll just write me a line and tell me what you think of Meet Dr. Christian. Thank you again, and now on with tonight's show.
The title of tonight's play is Once Around the Block. In it, you will hear an all-star Hollywood cast, including Rosemary DeCamp, who is already well-loved by Dr. Christian fans, in the role of Judy Price, the doctor's secretary. Gloria Holden, who has given some fine performances in previous Dr. Christian dramas, in the role of Jennifer Williams, a young wife with a problem. Dorothy Lovett, whom you will see as the screen Judy in the Meet Dr. Christian picture, soon to be showing in your local theater. Cast in our story tonight in the role of Kit McKenzie, a worried young mother. Maud Eburn, who plays the crabbed old recluse, Cordelia Bingham, who lives in the White House with a cupola next door to Dr. Christian on the River Road. And Frederick Shields, who plays Pete Williams, Jennifer's problem. The curtain is rising now on the familiar River's End scene. It is twilight of a late October evening. Leaves are drifting down through the blue haze of dusk to join the heaps of red and gold already spilling over the curbs. There is the pungent odor of burning leaves in the air, and on the street, not a soul in sight except Dr. Christian and Judy, who have just come out of his house on the corner and are rounding the block into State Street.
Judy, I think this is the time of the year I like best. Summer has worn out her welcome, and time catches her breath before she plunges us into a brisk winter flurry.
Oh, mercy me, Dr. Christian. So poetic.
I should have warned you, Judy. That's what autumn does to me.
Well, she's catching her breath too long to suit me. I'm ready for a little winter activity.
You young people all alike, Judy. No sooner do you get your swimsuits off than you want to put your ski pants on.
Well, this breath-catching business has no charms for me. I like action and plenty of it. That's why I love summer. There's so much going on.
Well, the excitement of living goes on in all seasons, Judy. The action has just moved indoors.
It's gone away from here, all right. Look, there's not a soul in sight.
They're all indoors by the warm fire waiting for the evening meal.
Hibernating for the winter.
Well, let's stop in here at the McKenzie cottage and see the new baby.
All right.
There's a light in the parlor.
Kit and George McKenzie are probably dribbling baby talk all over the place.
Well, I hope not. At this hour, the baby's only 2 weeks old.
Kit and George certainly are putting a big strain on Providence.
What do you mean?
Oh, bringing another member of the family into the world, and everybody knows they can't even pay the grocer's bill.
Oh, but a girl's first baby is her greatest adventure, Judy. She should meet it when she's young and full of faith.
Well, that'd be swell if the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker were equally full of faith.
Oh, just the same, Judy. Nature arranges things pretty wisely.
Considerably aided in this town by Dr. Christian, I notice.
Well,
the bell?
There isn't any. You're just right.
Oh. Kit keeps this tumble-down old house looking pretty neat, considering. Look at the dimity curtains.
Here comes someone.
Why, Dr. Christian. Good evening. And Judy. Hello, Kit. Oh, how nice to see you both. Come in.
We were just out for a turn around the block, and Judy thought it'd be fun to stop and see the baby.
I'm so glad you did. Come on in the sitting room. I've got the baby's basket right up by the fire. Oh, isn't she adorable? Oh, did you ever see such pink cheeks, Dr. Christian? Look. Oh, you little sweetheart. Oh, was she the toothiest, weensy little honey bun?
The baby looks fine, Catherine.
Oh, she's been fine, Doctor. Thanks to your care. Oh, Kit, may I hold her for a minute? May she, Dr. Christian?
Well, no, it's strictly against the rules. But she may.
Oh, you're so sweet. You mustn't scratch Judy, baby. Oh, isn't it a miracle how perfect their little fingernails are?
Seems to me the baby looks a good deal better than the mother. Feeling all right, Catherine?
Oh, yes.
Now, don't try to fool the old doctor, Catherine.
I'm perfectly all right, Dr. Christian. Just a little tired, I guess.
Where's George?
He's gone out.
Oh, what a shame. Thought I might have had a chance to say hello. I haven't seen him since the baby was born, you know.
I haven't either, Dr. Christian.
Why, Catherine.
No, it is not really. Well, he's been home to sleep nights, but then he goes out early in the mornings, and I never know when I'm going to see him again.
Why, Catherine, is something wrong?
Yes, Dr. Christian. Everything's wrong. Horribly, horribly wrong. Kid, what? Oh, what's the use of trying to pretend? He hates the baby. He hates her.
Oh, you're mistaken, Catherine.
How could anyone hate such an adorable bit of humanity? Just the same he does. He hates me for wanting her. Oh, Dr. Christian, I'm in such trouble, and I don't know where to turn.
Oh, there, my dear. You're still nervously exhausted. Things can't be so bad.
Oh, well, surely George will steady down now that he has a baby to think of. It's just the trouble. He's more rebellious than ever. He says having a baby has just shackled him, robbed him of every chance to get ahead. We were poor enough before, and now we have added expenses. He blames me for it all. Oh, but that isn't fair. How could he? Well, it's because of this house, Judy.
This house?
We rent this place, you know, from Pete Williams, who lives just back of here.
Yes, I know.
George has been saving to buy it for our very own. I know that, but I didn't realize how much it meant to him.
You mean the money he saved went for the baby?
Yes. He says we'll never do it but buy the house now. From the time I told him I was going to have a child, he's treated me almost like a stranger. He says the baby's coming has robbed him of the one thing he's always wanted. Oh, but how could a mere house mean so much to him? You'd understand, Judy, if you knew George. He's never had a home of his own. There were 11 children in his family.
Yes, I know. They were very poor.
He never had anything of his own. That's why he seemed so happy when we were married, and he managed to save a little bit of money. He said to me so often, "At last I've got something that's really mine. My wife. And soon I'll have a home of my own. A home that's really mine." Oh, if you could have heard the way he said, "A home that's really mine," you'd understand.
I think we do understand.
He wanted and felt he needed something he could tie himself to. That's it, exactly. He said he'd never been tired in the poverty he was accustomed to. Oh, look, kid. The baby's gone sound asleep. Maybe you better take her, huh? I'll put her back in her basket. Oh, she is dying, isn't she?
Yes. And I predict she'll be your greatest comfort someday, kid. Yours and George's, too. Time will tell. Well, Judy?
Oh, I feel so sorry for Kit, Dr. Christian.
Yeah, there's plenty of drama in that house, Judy.
I wonder how it'll all end.
Here comes Pete Williams. Good evening, Pete.
Hi, Pete. How are you?
Good evening, Dr. Christian. How yourself, Judy? Were you coming to our house, Dr. Christian?
Why, Judy and I were just taking a stroll around the block. We've been cooped up in the Stocky's office all day.
I wish you would go in and see Jennifer, Dr. Christian.
Isn't she well, Pete?
No, she... Oh, she hasn't been any too well lately. That is, neither of us has.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Doctor, I don't want to impose on you, but couldn't you stop in and see her right now? Offhand?
Oh, go ahead, Dr. Christian. I'll skip on home.
No, Judy, you go too. Perhaps
Why, Pete, what's the matter with Jennifer? The real matter, I mean.
Well, Dr. Christian, Jennifer's decided to leave me. I can't do anything with her. I feel desperate. And somehow, seeing you and Judy unexpectedly just now, it occurred to me maybe you could talk to her. Heaven knows I've tried, and she won't see.
Oh, of course we'll stop in to see her right now, won't we, Judy?
Of course.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Good night.
Dr. Christian, what's it all about?
I can't imagine, Judy.
I thought they were two of the happiest people in town.
Look there, Judy. He stopped in front of the Mackenzie cottage.
Yes. He owns it, didn't Kit say?
Yes, but that's no reason for standing there like a lost soul in the dusk, looking at it.
No. Well, he's probably not even conscious where he is, poor soul. Well, up and at him, Dr. Christian. We have patience to see.
So we have, Judy. And bless you for your unfailing ability to adjust yourself to whatever comes along.
Well, what comes along is the neat walk bordered with barberry that leads into the Pete Williams place. Don't you think it's funny, Dr. Christian, that Pete keeps his own place up so beautifully and lets the Mackenzie cottage run down? Well, here we are. Right dress, forward march. Halt. The Williams door.
Oh, hello, Dr. Christian. And is that Judy Price I see lurking behind you?
Hello, Jennifer.
We were just taking a constitutional once around the block.
And we saw your lights, so we thought we'd call and see how you were.
Oh, I'm so glad you did. Come in. Please come in.
Oh, it's so lovely in here. This is the nicest home in River's End.
Well, then take a last look at it, because it won't be home much longer.
What do you mean, Jennifer?
Well, I mean that Pete and I are washed up. Finished. Through.
Jennifer, you're joking.
Jennifer, my dear, you're not yourself tonight.
Oh, now, don't put on the old family physician act, Dr. Christian. You knew when you came in here that it was all over between Pete and me.
I knew.
Yes, you knew. Oh, I saw Pete stop and talk to me coming in to see me. And I saw something more, too. Something you didn't see. I saw Pete go down the block and stand stock still in front of the Mackenzie cottage with his soul in his eyes.
Jennifer!
Dr. Christian, would you think I was a fool to leave Pete because he is in love with someone else?
Well, Jennifer, do you love him?
Yes, so much. So much that I've decided to go.
But, Jennifer, you can't do that.
Oh, yes, I can. My plans are all made. This is 1939, you know. Unwinded wives don't stay home and weep. They get jobs and face life.
Isn't it possible you're mistaken?
No, I know I'm right. She was his first love, and I've come to believe she was his only love.
Jennifer, don't take it that way. I feel happy. Now, don't just give Pete up.
Oh, Judy, you can't fight ghosts.
What do you mean, ghosts?
I mean, Dr. Christian, that Pete Williams was in love a long time ago before I even knew him with a lovely girl who died. You knew her. She lived in that old house where Kit and George Mackenzie live now.
Christina Lambert, yes, I remember now. She and Pete grew up together. Their yards are joined at the back.
The yard of this house adjoins the yard of that in the back.
I remember now Pete's father buying that house.
It's always been her home. It was their honeymoon cottage.
Oh, but all that happened so long ago. I was a little girl in school.
Pete's one you can't forget.
Oh, but time heals all things, Jennifer. Surely in this lovely home you made for him, Pete.
Well, that's what I thought, too. Perhaps I could have succeeded somewhere else.
Well, why don't you move to some other part of town?
Yes, go on a trip and see new places and new faces and come back to a different home and a different outlook.
Just what would we use for cash?
You mean...
I mean, Pete simply hasn't the money. He's stony broke. All the inheritance he has left is in this place, in the Mackenzie cottage. He kept it as a shrine for years, and in hard times forced him to rent it. Last year, George Mackenzie took an option to buy it, and I was so happy, thinking at last relief from the specter was at hand.
And this year the baby came along.
And the Mackenzies had no money to buy the house. In fact, there's no market at all for houses around here.
So you're chained to the house, and the Mackenzies are chained to the baby.
What did you say?
Oh, nothing. I was just making songs of sympathy.
Well, it's all over now. Peter's tried to convince me that his old love was a thing of the past. But as long as he's forced to live within sight of that house, pass it every day, I know it's no use. It haunts him, and it's come to haunt me. So I've made up my mind to go to Chicago and get a job. And, well, someday, if a miracle happens and Pete can get clear of his emotional entanglements here in River End, then I want you to convince him, Dr. Christian, that I'm there waiting for him.
And the curtain comes down on the first half of our Dr. Christian drama, Once Around the Block. We have a brief intermission now, just long enough for me to give you this message from the sponsors. A message to all you men. No matter what your line of work, it's most important to keep your hair looking well-groomed and healthy. If your hair is dry and brittle, if it's hard to manage, especially after a shampoo, or if you're bothered by unsightly dandruff scales, treat these dry scalp conditions with Vaseline Hair Tonic. Vaseline Hair Tonic is different. It contains absolutely no drying ingredients. Instead, Vaseline Hair Tonic supplements the natural oils of the scalp, removes unpleasant dandruff scales, makes the hair healthy-looking, lustrous, and easy to manage. Get a bottle of Vaseline Hair Tonic tomorrow. Before every shampoo, rub plenty of Vaseline Hair Tonic well on the scalp. And don't forget to use a few drops as a daily dressing for the hair. You'll be delighted when you see the difference it makes. Vaseline Hair Tonic costs only 40 and 70 cents for generous shaker top bottles at your neighborhood drugstore. It's curtain time again in the Columbia Playhouse in Hollywood, where our first Dr. Christian drama of the new season is playing to a full house of Jean Hersholt fans. The play is Once Around the Block. The curtain is going up, and the scene is the same as before. Golden leaves still drifting down in the dusk of a late October day. Dr. Christian and Judy Price, his secretary, have been taking a brief walk around the block. Up State Street, where they called on Kit McKenzie and her new baby. Then through Lincoln Avenue to Elm. Down Elm to the Pete Williams house. And now they're at the corner of Elm Street and the River Road. Old Miss Bingham's house gleams whitely through the red and gold leaves.
Well, Judy?
Plenty of drama in that house, too.
Yeah. What time is it?
Just 6 o'clock.
Oh, just in time to stop in and leave Miss Bingham's medicine.
I think I'll go on home now, Dr. Christian.
Oh, nonsense, Judy. You're going to complete our little trip around the block, aren't you?
Well...
You're coming in with me to see Cordelia Bingham.
No, I don't think so. I never did like the looks of this old barn she lives in. We used to run by it a mile a minute when we were kids.
Well, you aren't afraid of Cordelia, are you, Judy?
Well, I don't know. I've never met her. I don't think I've even seen her for years.
I don't think anyone has seen her, except her lawyer and me.
Is there really anything wrong with her, Dr. Christian, but cussedness?
I think you'll find Cordelia an interesting character. You'd better come along with me.
Oh, well, all right, but you stay right beside me, huh?
Now, come on.
You know, this must have been an elegant mansion at one time.
It was, Judy. Why, I can remember when it was the showplace of Riverside, before Cordelia's parents died.
Huh. Was that when she locked herself in and refused to see anyone but you? And... Oh, goodness. What was that?
The doorbell, Judy.
Oh, dear. From the sound of that, I dread to think what will open the door.
Oh, it'll probably be Cordelia herself. She hasn't kept a servant in years.
That's right. She's supposed to be awfully stingy, isn't she? I've heard she hasn't parted with 1 cent of the fortune her family left her when they died.
Shh, be quiet, Judy.
Oh.
Well, good evening, Cordelia.
Good evening, Paul.
This is my secretary, Miss Judy Price.
Visitors are not usually welcome here, Miss Price, but for Paul's sake, I'll make an exception. How do you do?
Good evening, Miss Bingham.
Well, come in quickly. You're letting all the cold air in.
Oh, yes, of course. Come on in, Judy.
I waste enough coal as it is trying to keep my own rooms warm. I'll go right in there where the lamp's burning. Sit down, Paul.
Thank you, Cordelia.
Well, you may sit down too, young lady.
Oh, thank you.
Now go ahead and start our weekly chat, Paul. What are you doing up, Cordelia Bingham? I told you to get someone in here to take care of you and to stay in bed and not overdo.
Well, that's right, Cordelia. You know it all by heart.
That's one case where my heart's never failed me, no matter how bad you say it is.
Well, I'm really serious this time. You don't look nearly as well as when I saw you last week.
Of course not. I haven't had my evening's glass of sherry.
Oh, you remember what I told you?
Of course I do. I'm not playing for time, Paul. I'm ready any time our good Lord is.
Oh, but Miss Bingham, you...
What do you know about it, young lady?
Huh? Nothing, I guess.
Of course you don't. Wait until you're my age. I'm 94.
Well, I thought you told me you were 96, Cordelia.
No, 94.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Be glad, young miss, that you learned to laugh while you were young. That's something my parents forgot to teach me.
Oh, but you had everything, didn't you? Money, this beautiful home, pretty dresses.
Oh, yes. I was a precious jewel, wasn't I, Paul?
Yes.
A fragile bit of china. My parents were afraid I'd crack if I smiled. They put me on a shelf, and here I am today. And here I'll stay until I take that final plunge and shatter this old bit of china to pieces.
You mustn't talk like that, Cordelia.
Why not? I'm not afraid to face facts. We've both known for months that I might go at any time, any moment.
You know, Cordelia, you're a courageous woman.
Just fatalistic, Paul. What have I got to live for? My parents never taught me to enjoy life. And when they died, I was too old to learn. I had everything, all the money in the world to have fun with. And I didn't know how.
Surely someone could have taught you.
Those fortune hunters that trailed after me when I was younger? Oh, no. Not a cent would they get. I've spent my money as I pleased. And I haven't thrown away on those young wastrels.
You know, I've never really understood you, Cordelia.
Neither has anyone else in this town. They all think I'm selfish. I pinch pennies. I'm a miser.
Oh, no, not that, Miss Bingham.
Yes, I know, young lady. You needn't try to be kind. But you know, Paul Christian, what people have been saying about me. How they've condemned me for shutting myself up here in this house. You're my friend, and I can tell you, I'll have the last laugh on them.
Oh, no, you mustn't let yourself get so excited, Cordelia. Judy, we better be going.
Yes,
Here's your medicine.
That for my medicine.
Oh.
Cordelia.
I've started now, and I'm going to finish.
Sit down, Cordelia, please.
Yes.
Don't worry about me. I'm all right. Paul, I want you to do something for me.
Of course.
Open that drawer there, in the center table.
This one?
Yes. Bring me those papers. They're on top.
Are these the right ones?
Yes. Thank you, Paul. Everyone knows my parents left me a fortune, now don't they? And they think I still have all of it.
Yes, I guess that's true, Cordelia.
Look at this receipt.
$15,000 donated to a home for crippled children in Australia?
I saw to it that nobody in town knew anything about that. Read this.
$150,000 for the erection of an institute to the blind in Norway?
I got you farther away that time. Look at all of them, Paul. 25,000 here. 86,000 here. I've given it all away, all over the world.
But I don't understand. How did you find out about all these places?
My lawyer found them for me. I've given away every cent of my money. Every cent but $25,000. And you, Paul Christian, are going to help me dispose of that.
But don't you think you should keep something?
I'll have all I shall need for as long as I shall need it. And so, I want to arrange with you, Paul, who knows River's End better than any living person, to give my last bit of money to someone here in River's End, to someone who is just starting life, someone who needs it, someone to whom it will mean freedom, opportunity, and, I hope, happiness.
Oh, Miss Bingham.
Will you name the beneficiary, Paul?
I will, Cordelia. And the Lord will bless you for your wisdom. I nominate for the legacy a young lady who is your neighbor, for whom your generosity will provide the future now denied her. And in so doing will reunite her parents and restore the love light to still another home in this block. Kitty Mackenzie, age 2 weeks.
Jean Hersholt will be out in front in just a moment to tell you something about next week's play. While we're waiting, here's a question I would like to put to you. Did you ever stop to think what a wonderful organ your skin is? It can withstand temperature changes of almost 200 degrees Fahrenheit, yet keep the body temperature at practically one constant level. Your skin does an amazing job of protecting your very life, but it in turn needs protection. Heated rooms and wintry winds rob your skin of its natural oils, so that it's apt to crack or peel or chap according to the weather. And because Vaseline jelly quickly corrects these conditions, it has been America's favorite skin remedy for generations. Vaseline jelly does 3 vitally important things for your skin. First, it forms a protective film that helps keep infection out when the skin is broken. Second, it has a soothing, healing action. And third, Vaseline jelly softens and lubricates the skin by taking the place of those natural oils so easily evaporated or washed away. These 3 services to the skin make Vaseline jelly helpful in the treatment of burns, scalds, chapping, chafing, cuts, scratches, and just about every other type of minor skin injury and irritation. Of course, you probably have Vaseline jelly on hand. I think it's safe to say it's one of the most popular products ever made, for Vaseline jelly has been used in more than 9 out of 10 American homes for generations. Make Vaseline jelly your first thought at the first sign of any skin injury or irritation. And be sure you always have a good supply on hand. Vaseline jelly costs only 10 cents for a generous jar or tube at any drugstore. But be sure to look for the trademark Vaseline when you buy. It is your assurance of absolute purity. And now, here is our star, Jean Hersholt, as Dr. Christian of River's End. What is your story for next Wednesday night, Dr. Christian?
Well, I'm planning to tell you the story of Ted Gallagher. Ted is the bad boy of River's End, and his story is full of drama. I think parents and children will both enjoy it, and so I invite you all to listen and tell your friends to listen. Until next Wednesday night at this same hour, then, I'll say good night.
Your announcer is Arthur Gilmore. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.